I'm James and welcome to another review. Today we're looking at the Black Sheep War Journal issue 2, written by Dennis Higgins. Now this one is centred around military intelligence. The previous issue on special forces I've reviewed, so I was looking forward to this. Now it has doubled in price, but let's be honest, we're talking $3.99, which is not a lot, and in all fairness to Dennis, he has actually doubled the number of pages and put a lot more illustrations in. So hey, I can live with that. Let's be honest, that's not exactly a huge amount, $3.99 for 21 pages. So what's it contained then? Well, it starts off with an overview of all the community material published to date, and it was very thorough. And all I can say, having read that, Dennis, is thank you very much. It hasn't biased my opinion of your magazines, hearing how much you thought of my two efforts so far. But it is nice. There's some good, insightful thoughts on things, not just on my material but on everybody's. So that was quite useful. There's an overview then on Spetsnaz. Two pages, brief ideas on generation and their role, trying to actually establish exactly what their role is, because there is an awful lot of misinformation in the West, particularly the material that came out during the Cold War, particularly by people like Viktor Suvorov. A lot of it is fantasy, for want of a better word. So this was a good attempt to try and sort of ground that. There's then 3 pages on military intelligence with 4 new career paths. They're well detailed and adaptable to other nations. Dennis does note that I tend to use a lot of British material, and if you are using this with British, then the minimum rank would drop to private in all cases. I may as well put that in there now. There's then 2 pages on the 105th Military Intelligence Battalion, which is the military intelligence battalion assigned to the 5th Division. It gives a very good overview of the organisation. I think he's missed a little bit of a trick there by not actually specifying what the organisation is during 2000. It's much more the pre-war one, and some good suggestions on how to involve them in the campaign and actually making them the focus of a campaign, and I quite like that. There's then a couple of pages on equipment, ground surveillance radar complete with rules, and REMBAS, the remotely monitored battlefield sensor system, which is an interesting bit of equipment. There's also then information on radio interception and jamming gear, with Radio Watch being a very significant item in Twilight 2000 terms. I think that's a nice little addition. And cam netting. Yeah, something as basic as that. He then has 4 pages on the Britva Zutova, or Zotov's Razor, which is a Spetsnaz group, which were linking back to the ODA 146 in the previous issue. They were the ones who were hunting them, and is basically the remnants of a whole Spetsnaz battalion. This is something that perhaps we don't realise in the West, is that the Soviets often used them as quite large size units. So we've got that. There's then 4 pages on Archon 22, which is ground surveillance team from the 105th Military Intelligence Battalion and their Humvee. So it's a whole fleshed out unit that you can drop in. The NPCs there are really nicely written, they're well presented, they're rounded, and they come across as really interesting people that would make a great little encounter group. So quite an interesting variation. There's some nice little ideas in there. A couple of units that you can immediately pick up and drop into a campaign. New careers. It's a nicely focused journal. I do like the touch that he's concentrating on one sort of thing at a time. So again, highly recommended. Nice simple thing to drop into a campaign. It's nothing that's essential for a campaign, but what there is nice if you want to sort of go down that route. Hopefully that's been useful, and I'll see you soon for another review.